Hi everyone, I am Marian and welcome to this week's Obsession. This is a podcast where I talk about things outside law school that are fun and new to stay sane with the handwritten notes that we need to do. Progress, I'm not even 1/3 in my notes for labor, and dude, it's so hard to not procrastinate, but I am pushing through it. And law school is gonna be roughly in 3 weeks, and I am excited to get back to it, but at the same time scared. Excited. Anyway, just like feeling the pressure already. So for this week's obsession, that would be the film that I just watched today at the cinema, which is Bring Her Back, an A24 film. My God, I really love A24 movies, particularly the horror ones. Some of my favorites are Midsommar, The Lighthouse, Hereditary, and most of all, my favorite, and apparently a lot of people's favorite, is The Witch, or The Witch, as they would say it. And yeah, today I watched Bring Her Back. This is the second cinema or film that I watched this summer. The first one being 28 Weeks Later. I didn't like that film. It was cheesy. It was a sequel to 28 Days Later, a zombie film, and it was not a good spending of money. Whereas Bring Her Back, I would say, is a very decent horror film, or rather a tragedy that is disguised as a horror. So based on my recollection, I didn't take notes of this, is that the film revolves around, spoiler alert first, basically the title of the film, what it's like to lose someone and to want to bring them back at all costs. Yeah, I think that's just how far I'll delve deep into it, because I think you should give the film a go, because to me it felt like something that would really resonate with me, like on a personal level. If you have lost someone you love, I guess this would be a film that captures the different ways of coping on the loss of a loved one. Despite the horror themes, the gore, I think essentially that's what it is, right? And I think it's in a way beautiful, apart from the fact that it's traumatizing to see how much gore is in that film. I just wince throughout the entire movie, because my God, the scenes are haunting, and viewer discretion if you don't like seeing, for example, teeth gore or losing teeth. There's a lot of it in this film. Then don't watch it. But in general, I would recommend it if you like the feeling of discomfort that A24 films tend to give. It was very unsettling. It did not need a lot of exposition. It really depended on the show don't tell, rather than just using exposition or telling everything. And it basically diverts from a lot of tropes that we can see in horror movies, like rather than depending on jump scare, although there were a few, it depended on creating an atmosphere of unsettling and horror, right? So comparing this, since we still have a lot of time, to films like the Midsommar, The Lighthouse, Hereditary, they really show the themes of loss as well, right? Not The Lighthouse, Midsommar and Hereditary, rather. And if you like Midsommar, if you like Hereditary, I would recommend this. So on a quick note, on a side note, why I think The Witch is my favorite among all the A24 films is that, according to my friend, it's like very historical. It's very accurate to how it was like to be a Christian, or I forgot the term. They're not Quakers per se, but how it's like to be living at that time period in America, where people were in isolated communities, and if you were banished, you're basically left to fend for yourself. And that isolation is what, like, that sort of isolation is quite what's horrifying about that film. Like, having no one to help you as a demon, as a witch tries to take over everything you have, your land, your crops, your family, and whatever, right? And the language they use is also very accurate and historical for its time. They use a lot of I wouldn't like it's hard to describe, but the English that's very formal. And yeah, it was quite a different film in the sense. So, there are also classic A24 films. Pearl, I think Pearl is an okay thriller film, and I do like how it portrays the downturn, or the slow turn to insanity of the main character. But I think like it's a film that's just fun to watch, but I wouldn't rewatch it. And yeah, I've watched The Witch like more than probably 2 or 3 times already, and you can always see new something new, right, in seeing in each rewatch. Like, that's how good it is. And Anya Taylor-Joy is always gonna be one of my favorite female actresses. The actresses out there, she is so queen. And other films actually that are in A24 that I watch that reminds me is that I've been watching but I recently watched two Jane Austen films, the period dramas, or is that what you call them? Emma and Pride and Prejudice, and they brought me a lot of belief in the spirit of love again. Like, it's just so happy to see, because I'm the type of person that really likes watching horror films, unsettling films, and watching something happy every now and then is actually pretty uplifting. Well, duh. If you're the type of person that keeps watching bleak films, of course, having happy films is a good change of environment, change of scenery. And Anya Taylor-Joy was the main character in Emma. She is Emma. She is queen. And both the male leads in Pride and Prejudice, that's Mr. Darcy, and Emma, which is Mr. Knightley, right? They are such cute characters, especially Mr. Darcy, who is quite a relatable, introverted, socially anxious person. And yeah, seeing characters, although like they follow a very they come from rich backgrounds, and like they have happy endings, or they, spoiler alert, become married by the end. I think it's still a good film to watch if you want to understand what it's like to fall in love again, and to have characters which are humbled, right? Which are humbled by the end of the film, but also seeing them grow and change into better people, and changing the people around them. So yeah, some of the films that I watch, apart from the A24 films, are those. So I think this episode will be very short, because I still gotta do some things. But yeah, bring her back. Hope you watch it. And other A24 films like The Witch and some Jane Austen. I swear, I didn't think I would like Jane Austen films, but they are amazing. And some of the things that I plan to watch are Atonement, even though it's not Jane Austen, but similar vibes, right? Keira Knightley is just so queen, and I will make use of my last few weeks of non-law school, of life, to live, laugh, and maybe watch more films that I probably will not be able to watch next time. So that's all. Thank you for listening, and see you next time. Bye-bye.